Okay, so let's see how you would have done had this been a real AC, right? So we draw our triangles, RST, S is 78.2 degrees, R is 125.5 millimeters, S is 172.3 millimeters. So you should have noticed that I'm mixing things up, right? Even though we had just covered cosine, you have a pair. Okay? So that is an indication that you need to start with sine law. So sine of 78.2 degrees over 172.3 is the same thing as, and the only feasible option would be to solve for angle R, okay, because you have the side across from it. And right off the bat, I'm just going to make a note. I'm expecting angle R to be smaller than this one, right? Because this side is longer than that one. So, you know, it's always good to kind of know what to expect, okay? So then I cross multiply and divide, and sine of R, I'm trying to think how I would have shown this to you. I think I just went inverse right away, but I'll do the extra line, it doesn't hurt. I have the answer right here, but I just want to make sure you know the correct steps, right? Like this, and then angle R at that point, I should be seeing the inverse at some point. Should be seeing the inverse taken, not just this is my answer, okay? Angle R, shift sine of that previous answer is 45, 47. 48, 45, 48, if you round it. Okay, so that's your angle right there. So now you know this angle, which allows you to find angle T. So I'm going to proceed and do that, right? Angle T is 180 minus 78.2 minus 45, 48. Angle T is 56.32. Which is also, in this case, it is definitely required, right? So I like you to circle, box in, like what's required, what I should be seeing, right? And you can technically turn now and say, I want to do cosine law, right? Because if you know that this is 56.32, right? 56.32, and you focus, this is SAS, right? Which allows you to find side T, which is right there. And I will do that actually. I'll switch, okay, using cosine law to solve for T, right? You don't have to, you can use sine law, but here it is. So T squared would be 172.3 squared plus 125.5 squared minus 2 times that times the first one times cosine of 56.32. Okay, so this angle is what I'm using there. If you use sine law, don't erase, right? Like it's just fine. Okay. I'm gonna have to type this in. That way you have more examples in your notes, right? Am I doing things right? Yeah. And you get 21,454, 577, and so forth. Root of that is 146.47. And it could be that you got 48 if you use sine law. Could be, but that's okay. Just make sure you show your work, right? So there are the three pieces that you needed. You need three things to solve. The only triangle that cannot be solved is angle, angle, angle. That one you can't, there's nothing you can do with that. You need at least one side, right? You can do all three sides, that works, but you cannot do all three angles, right? All right, let's do the next one here. This one, right, involves you slicing the triangle. You got to slice it up, right? So, what will I do first? I think I'm going to just cut it into, in this case, if I slice it like this, I can work with that. But it's probably a good idea to find the height right away. Now, I don't know if you notice, right? You've got the side and the angle adjacent to it. So the height is 79.2 times sine of 32. That always works. Okay? Sorry. If you can, do that right away. Right? So 41.97 yards. So that right now you have the very useful side because this one is shared by both triangles. So having that is important, right? So if you then slice it up like this, and there's a 90, right? You're told that's a 90. In fact, sorry, if you do this, right, you're assuming that there's a 90. You're finding the height of that triangle, right? So this is 41.97. This is 79.2. And this is 32 degrees here. Do you mind if I mention what you suggested yesterday? He says, can I use Pythagorean theorem here? And the answer is yes, right? Because you've got a right triangle. So you could do that. It's up to you. Maybe I'll do both here. But in order to find x, I need this angle up here, right? So that's basically 180 minus 90 minus 32, right? So that is basically, oops, on the wrong page here. 58 degrees here for that. So, right, you've got your pair and you've got that. So you didn't even need to find the height there unless you wanted to use Pythagorean theorem, right? So sine of 90 over, let me just bring this up a bit, sine of 90 over 79.2 is equal to sine of 58 over x. So yes, sometimes you're overwhelmed by having too many options, but it should all jive, right? It should all work. Sine of 90 is 1, so you don't really need to type that in. For x, I get 6717 yards, okay? So I needed that, and I'm going to solve for y now. I'm going to use this spot here, right? Y, and this is solving for x. For this side, it's definitely good to have the height, right? Because you don't know the slant here. So you know this is 49. This is also 90. This is 41.97. Okay. So you've got your pair here. And this is y, is what we're asking for here. So this is 41 degrees, right? 180 minus 90 minus 49. That's 41. Okay. So now you have your pair that you need the 41 to find y, right? So it's sine of 49 over 41.97 is equal to sine of 41 over y. Okay. So y is equal to 41.97 times sine of 41 divided by sine of 49. And on this particular one, you cannot use Pythagorean theorem. You don't have enough information. Here you could have, right? Maybe if I'll try to fit in Pythagorean theorem here just to review in case you need a review. I don't think you need one, but oops, 41 divided by sine of 49. And that's 3648 yards. So that's y, that's x. And so keep in mind that this could have involved different steps. If you want to, this is optional, right? Using Pythagorean theorem, right? To find x, that's one of the legs, right? I don't know if you remember, if you get the leg, you got to take the square root of the hypotenuse squared minus the other leg squared. Okay, so technically that should work out. Right, so we take the root of 45, 11, 1, 5, and that keeps going. And that is 67, 17, which is exactly the same. So absolutely feel free to use it. The only thing is you need to make sure it's a 90, right? Don't use Pythagorean theorem on just any case, all right? I'll give the answers to the bottom one before I move on to more word problems. So I'll give you the answers to the rest if you want to practice. XP is 46, 32, 25. I posted the key today. I forgot to post this last week. So here are the answers to that triangle if you want to give that one a try. So XP would be right from here to here, and then PY would be from here to there. So but I don't give you a side length, so what's up with that? Go ahead. I'll have to give you a side length here. I have to check my, here it is. Here's the side length. Sorry guys. This is 7,201 miles. Okay, otherwise you can't do it. Can't do it if you don't have that. So write this down and these are your answers there. Okay. That's it for just plain triangles. Now we're gonna continue with word problems. Okay, so I'll stop this here.